Okay, look at this. Mm. Hello, welcome to mm, 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 Ah. Mm. 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 Hello, collective. How are you today? My name is Loretta. I am the Lady of the Light. Welcome in. Welcome in. I wanted to talk today more about the Kundalini experience I had. So this is the snake that's at the bottom of your spine. That it wakes up when it feels safe and it's secure, and it has a clean environment, and it feels safe enough. After you surrender and don't force it, it will wake up, and it will go up through all your chakras. It will come out the crown of your head. And my experience was, when that happened, the whole universe opened up inside of my awareness. And I got two gifts that came down, which makes you the high priestess. And the two gifts that came down, one was a Celtic cross, and one was the sun. And it stays there. The energy shoots out your crown, and it circles, as above, so below. So, like last night, I was sleeping, and the whole universe was swirling around me. I could see it through my third eye. It opens up your third eye, and I could see it. When I closed my eyes, I could see it in the room. So, when this happened, I was meditating, and I was laying on my couch, and I was meditating to Bella Katrina's Reiki. And I'd been doing this for months, because I started on a hero's journey, and I was on a spiritual path to awakening. And so I was lying there, and I was in a deep state of meditation, and your thighs will get really, really warm, real warm. And you'll feel how warm your thighs get when this starts to happen. But my advice is just to lay there for 5 minutes. If this is happening, if you're trying to do this, and you have to surrender to it. You can't force it. It will create. I've heard of a lot of health problems if you try to force it. But you just set an intention, but your thighs will get really warm. I suggest you lay down and you be real comfortable when you're doing this. I'm going to try to do some meditations with you guys and see if we can accomplish it for you, because a lot of you that are on this spiritual path right now, that have been going through this hero's journey, you can. I think you should have it awake right now, and it will help you out a lot. It will help you see a lot clearly, a lot more clear about what's going on here. And I'm going to try to take you through some deep meditations later on in the week. So be prepared for that. Then I was still lying there, and I lied there when the universe opened up, and my Akashic records came up inside of my universe, the Akashic records of all my past lives. I must have had 60. I mean, there were so many, I got exhausted looking at them. So I just saw them flipping. All the people I had been in a past life. I was even male. I was an Indian a couple of times. Um, they just flipped. And some of my past life animals that I didn't even recognize. I had a wolf back in the 1800s, or cowboys and Indian days. I had a wolf. I didn't recognize him, but some of the animals I've had in this lifetime weren't even in my Akashic records. So that was surprising. But I'm an old soul, very old soul. And so I saw that. And so I was laying there. I saw the Eye of Horus. It came up. And I go, well, so I asked a question. I said, so where's God? Because this is why I'm out here on this journey. I'm looking for God. And I said, so where's God? And God, he comes to you in the description that you see him in, So he shows up in my universe, and I said, well, hey, there he is. And then he comes real close to my awareness, and then he disappears. And I said, where's God? I want to see God. And he comes back again. And I said, well, there you are. And he went right through my awareness, right through my awareness. And I said, I thought that was strange. I said, okay, well, but this is how programmed we are with religion, thinking that God's outside of us. We think that he's outside of us, and I couldn't even conceive of, him showing me that I was God, that's what he was trying to show me. But I didn't get it then either, not until I reached realized ascended master. Then I got it. But we're all out there looking outside of ourselves for God. And this religion is just, it has everyone so programmed, thinking that you're not a part of God, but you are. You're a spark of him. We all are. We just don't know it because of this veil that we're under. I was talking about the veil earlier, how I witnessed that when I first came in. But we're God. We're actually God. We're the creators, co-creators with the universe and God. And that's who we are. But I'll take you through my journey. It's a lot. It's overwhelming what I've been through. It's 10 years of it, and it's going to take some time to get it all out there. But, and so, it's a lot. But I've had a lot of distraction since the 4th of July happening here, is why I couldn't get back here to you guys. But, so I started hearing Archangel Michael clearly, and I went and a week or so went by, and then I was asleep in that higher heart. Nobody was there, but I was dead asleep. And it felt just like a person was in the room when they pushed down on my heart. And then I started hearing all this ticking, and I got up and I turned on all the lights, and there wasn't nobody anywhere in the house. Nowhere. I swear. And I'm like, holy cow, this is ticket. It sounded like there's a bomb in my chest. But it calmed down after a couple of minutes. It started calming down and it finally went away. But then I was looking in my universe, laying in my bed one night and looking up in my universe. Everyone's got it's called a universe. Everybody's got one. But you see it when you have a Kundalini awakening. It wakes up inside your awareness. And I saw this blueprint. There was like a little pen. I couldn't see anything else, but there was a little pen, and it was drawing a blueprint of a new body, of a new body. And it was for me because it was in my universe, but it was drawing a new blueprint with the organs, rearranging the organs. And I went, oh my God. So that's when I knew I had been studying, my spirituality, and I've been led everywhere I needed to go. Michael was leading me to show me so I would know what was happening to me. And so I had a new diagram of a new energy body, it's called, that comes in, a crystalline body, and that comes in later. It's a stronger body. It's called a crystalline body, the new energy body. But I went through the experience of all that too, and I'm going to share all that with you. But that's a lot too. It's going to take at least a whole video to share the new energy body, but I will. And it's just been phenomenal what I've been going through. And yeah, it's transcending the human, to transcend the human to a higher, more powerful, more powerful human, But I did get a lot of gifts, and I'm a seer, a time traveler. I change dimensions at will. I a lot of them. Very high intuition, all the clairs. I was even speaking light language, but that went away. And I astro travel. I remote view. I can transfer my consciousness at will. And all this this journey is to teach you to raise your consciousness. So bring in the new earth is what it's about. But I did a lot of work behind the scenes, astro traveling. When I first started, I saw myself flying the oceans, looking for anchors, working with the Galactic Federation and the Atlanteans. And I saw myself flying the oceans, telepathically talking with the Galactic Federations so they could anchor in the new grid, the new 5D grid. So I did some of that work. I even swam underwater. And I did see my astral body. I saw it clearly. It just leaves. It's blue, like electric blue, and it just goes up through the roof. It goes through the roof and then it goes out, and it can go anywhere it wants. But I did a lot of help with the crystalline grid and the Galactic Federation. I've even done some remote viewing with the Greys, the alien Greys. And I went to Atlantis, and I went there, I was knighted there in Atlantis, and I had a crew of like 36 people behind me. So I flew out the back of Atlantis in a spaceship. So I fly spaceships. And I went, I had the Lehmans with me, and one of the Lehmans, and they're like really tall. They're like 11 feet high. And then I had a druid on this side, but I was driving the spaceship. I was the only one driving it. And then I had a druid over here, and he was with us at the helm of this ship. It's one of these smaller ships that go into the Galactic Federation. And I went in there and I went in there and parked the spaceship, and had some I guess had some dealings with the Galactic Federation. But then there was another time that I went to the heavenly realm, and this woman, she honored me. She came out. I guess she was there's something called the Ark of the Covenant that the angels come from, and I am an archangel. I work with Archangel Michael. He's already told me I'm one of him, and we could clearly just converse, just like he was sitting right here. I could never see him, but I could hear him plain as a day. And it's the Ark of a Covenant. They have groups up in on the other side where they all grouped up, and I was the head of this angel group. They're called the Ark of the Covenants, and the angels, they came here when the call was Mother Gaia called out for help. But we came here a long, long time ago to help her raise her vibration so she could lift out of the darkness of the industrial age that we're leaving right now. But yeah, she came out to greet me all dressed up in this purple dress. That's not what they wear in heaven. But she came out. She was so pretty. And she came out, and she kissed me on the cheek. And I don't know what we talked about. We had a conversation. And then I left. And then I saw the Council of Nine. They're a Council of Nine. Magenta Pixie's involved with them a lot. But they're here, there, and everywhere. The Council of Nine. And we were going over a book I'm supposed to write in the future. Which it says it's going to become a movie. Because I have been through a treacherous time here. I'm dealing with past life after past life of some kind of spiritual war going on with my family. It's horrible what they've done. They've frauded up a lot of stuff and faked a lot of stuff, and stole 2 of my properties and lied about it, and they're lying about me and defamating my character and trying to make me look like an evil witch that's incompetent, and that's just not the case. My ex, he is, man, he's a psycho. And he's very good at what he's doing. He had a lot of people fooled for a long time, but I think it's coming to the light now. I turned it over to the divine, because it was just too much for me to handle. I couldn't handle it. He's just created some war just because I wanted a divorce. He was just neglecting himself so much that it was pouring out of him and pouring onto me, and he was neglecting me physically, verbally, mentally, now financially, and with all his fakeness and fraudness. Him and his daughter got together, and her husband, and they started frauding up everything, gang stalking my home. I had a lake house, and it was my forever home I had built, and it was during I was 54, going into retirement age, and he just went berserko. He didn't want to split everything down the middle. He wanted me dead and in the street, and and defamate my character, which was, all that was lies. Framing me up, setting me up, coming in my home, gang stalking me. Her with his daughter and her husband. They had a lawn mowing business. They'd come in there with their weed killer because he knew I was allergic to aerosols and stuff, and just spray everything in the house because I took out a restraining order on him. And he grouped up with the cops because he was in the VA, and he was a veteran, and he was a cop in the Air Force. So there was a association I lived in Newport Richey, Florida. It was Sablewood, and there was a couple of cops that just joined the police force, and then the chief of police moved across the street right when all this was going down, and they grouped all up with them to go against me. So he brought an army against me, an army of people I don't even know, and started messing with my computer, frauding up documents and marriage documents. I had pictures of the abuse, but even attorneys, he was paying off people with the money. He went in my wallet, took my driver's license, went to the bank, and transferred all our money to somewhere 4 hours north in McClenny. And they started grouping up, living together, lying. And then he goes and lies to the cops up there, forces me out of my home because he took all the money, and forces me out of my home, gang stalking me, making it just impossible. And they had all the money, and her and her husband had a lawn mowing business. So they stole the money from the property of my home, and I guess they used it for their lawn mowing business. Who knows? But I showed up there to sell the house because I had to, and then they're ganging up on me there, which I sold it, and he was lying to the people that I sold the house to, making me look like the bad one. I wasn't bad. My husband was very sick, and I watched him through the years, go take all these drugs and further go down in his vibration, because we were married 33 years. We've been separated for 10 now. That's 43 years. But that's a long time. But I've watched him smoke marijuana every day of his life, go to work, lose his jobs because they pee test you. But he had gotten arthritis. He had to take, because he got bit by a tick when we were first married. And he had to take Tramadol and Vicodin, and then he had nerve damage, and he took. I've got a list of medications he was on, but it was just me and him. But I kept the list of medications, and through the years, I saw him declining in his health, and he took a gabapentin. I think it was for nerves. Yeah, he took a lot of different medications, and it bothered me because he was on so many medications that he smoked pot daily, constantly. It was like very addicted to it. And he would lose jobs for it. One time, he lost his 18-year career with a Greco because his pot level was through the roof, and they didn't want him anymore, so they dumped him in my driveway, our new forever home, my lake house. It was customized built. I had it customized built, and he was off work for 6 months, and he transferred our 401k too, because he lived off that for 6 months before he went back to work. But he just kept on declining with the party, and he just couldn't face himself. He couldn't face his own emotions or reality. I don't know. It was just very miserable. His daddy was very miserable, and his daddy had diabetes, and then he came down with that diabetes, and he had to shoot needles in his arms because he was a brittle diabetic. I didn't see anything like it. And they would, one episode he had with me, I didn't know what to do because I've never seen anybody. It's called DKA, and they just convulse and they lose their mind. And I guess I didn't know how to give those shots. It's insulin shots. And I took him to the hospital, and they had to handcuff him to the bed, and then they had to send him to a rehabilitation. And he had bruises on his arms because they have to handcuff him to the bed because they just run around crazy. He was in the car, rolling down the window, opening up the glove compartment, trying to open the door and jump out of the car. I'm like, oh my God. I didn't know how to handle, somebody like that. And I've never seen anybody act that way, but that's called a brittle diabetic. And I guess it led to heart problems, but they had to rehabilitate him. But he's going around telling everybody that I'm the wicked one here, and I wasn't wicked. I was just doing my duties and taking care of him, trying to keep him in line. But he didn't want to cooperate with himself. He didn't want to manage, his health, and he just wanted to, lash out at me and hit me. And he's very violent. He would get very violent with me for no reason at all. And I had taken pictures and shown the attorneys, and I don't know, his family joined up with him, and he had like the attorney even help him. And it's a mess. It's still a mess, but we're going to get it figured out and get this mess cleaned up because the divine is on it and the wrath is coming, and I can feel it. But I'm here to teach you guys, about the hero's journey that I've been on, and to get your Kundalini awake and help you get your Kundalini to rise the proper way, and try to get you to your level of realized ascended master. So I'm going to be taking you through a lot of the changes and the internal changes that I've been going through. But so you can reach your sovereign being and stand in your sovereignty and stand as a realized ascended master, and receive all the angelic powers, and the gifts that you can use. I am an alchemist also. I can do alchemy. I can change energy, at will. I'm very good at that. And I'm going to try to help you to get your alchemy going, and get your spiritual gifts online that you can use. But we're transforming the human. We're going into the future. It's by 2030, it's going to be mainly AI and robots. And most of the jobs here are probably going to be gone. we're going to have to figure out ways to bring in the money. But I'm going to help you send the human into the future, where you can stand in your own power, and these people cannot come up against you anymore. And you can stand strong against them. But I'm going to send my love out to you. I love you guys. I'll be back tomorrow. Maybe we'll do some meditating, or maybe we'll talk about transcending the human some more. But work on yourselves and get your chakras cleared up, and get ready, because in the next week or two, I'm going to lead you through a meditation for at least a week or so with these meditations, to see if some of you guys out there can get your Kundalini awake. All right. I love you. I'm the Lady of the Light, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good evening.